Welcome back to this week's countdown from AI Filmmakers Network, AFN. This week, we did not chase spectacle, we chased truth. The theme was Africa, strength, silence, and the stories untold. A docudrama challenge that asked creators to look beyond headlines, beyond stereotypes, beyond the noise, to tell the stories that live in quiet resilience, in unspoken sacrifice, in everyday survival. We received powerful interpretations, stories rooted in memory, identity, heritage, pain, and pride. From those entries, we've selected the top 5 AI films of the week, films that honored the depth of Africa with honesty and craft. This is not just a countdown, this is a reflection. Let's begin.
My mother walks miles for water, but she walks with dignity.
They see struggle. I see innovation. They say Africa is poor. They say Africa is broken. They say Africa is silent. But they never listened long enough.
We are culture. We are resilience. We are the future. The warhead are silence.
We're not your treaty. We are potential.
Africa does not cry loudly. Africa endures. Africa rises.
Africa was never silent. You just weren't listening. This is our story.
Trust us! Change is here!
They came with promises. We gave them power.
They said food would be cheaper.
They said jobs would come.
We are not enemies. We are citizens.
Go home. The people always forget quickly.
4 years passed, nothing changed. They speak of progress. We see the struggle. They call it stability. We call it survival. They sit in comfort. We stand in heat. They silence voices, but silence remembers. Africa is not weak. Africa is patient. And when we speak, the world will listen.
The promises did not return. When voices rose, they were called noise. When questions were asked, they were called threats. When the youth gathered, they were told to go home. Silence became survival. Phones were lowered, words were swallowed, eyes learned to look over shoulders. The uniform that was meant to protect began to intimidate. The law that was meant to defend began to warn. And still, the people endured. Because Africa has mastered something the world misunderstands. Strength here is not always loud. It does not always march. It does not always shout into megaphones. Sometimes it wakes before sunrise to till the soil. Sometimes it studies under a flickering streetlight.
They're outside. Delete it.
Why don't they listen to us?
They will when we remember who we are. They can silence voices, but not truth.
Lagos, a landscape of steel and sweat. A city where the hustle is religion, but when the sun sets tonight, the modern world dies. They call it the Oro Festival, the Great Pinsa.
Start going home. There will be Oro tonight. We have to go now.
Mommy, it's 2026. It's just old men scaring
They say
people. You don't understand.
it is a spiritual fire that sweeps the community, the power that crowns kings.
Okay, the vibe tonight.
When the bull screams, it binds the living to the dead. But they insist on a heavy price, absolute separation. For every woman, the decree is final. Disappear. They say the warning was clear. He who has ears, let him hear. But she who has eyes must never see. Curiosity is a dangerous thing. She sought to glimpse the face of the gods. But they say the gods do not like to be tested. The morning sun returns. It is believed the land is cleansed. But the story of what she saw is the silence we keep.
It is said in Yoruba land that pregnant woman does not walk in the sun or late at night. This is Egbon village, a peaceful, calm, but not much to eat, until Ewa, a pregnant yet beautiful, her black shine like diamond, walking down to the river to fetch her daily water.
But she left early to the river, believing she will get back before noon. Unfortunately, her legs failed her. She got tired, and she decided to rest under a small tree beside the river.
Henrile, a water god far beneath, the connected land, the Hifa, and the sacred Yoruba spiritual system.
Are you supposed to be here, woman?
Wouldn't be a bad idea to have a home here.
Ewa feels a sharp pain in her tummy and decided rush back to the village.
Thank God. Okori lanti. But
this boy has funny hair, Iwa. Is that normal? Where are you coming from?
Ewa went to consult her spiritual priest based on the look of the child.
He is no ordinary boy. Take good care of him and do not touch his hair.
Egbon village became prosperous and joyful. Amola, pot of wealth, grew up happy as well. The villagers loved his unique appearance, cared for him, even though they sometimes laughed at him.
Bring out your song. News reach all that you have a song that prospered your land.
Mommy, no, mommy, no. I can no longer stay here as human. You can always consult me whenever you need me. At the river where you had your first nap. Mommy, Emma Pino, call me.
Enrile turned into a spiritual tree between the river and the land.
Ewa turned to Iyaosha of Enrile.
No more death, no more hunger, no more fight.
Across the red dust and ancient rhythms of our land, they say a secret is a heavy thing to carry alone. She remembers the exact day the air changed, when the whispers began to trail her like a cold, persistent wind. To the world, she was no longer just a girl with a future. She was labeled a mistake, a stain on a story that had barely been allowed to begin. One by one, the communal doors clicked shut. Friends became strangers, and her desk at school sat empty. In the center of that suffocating quiet, he was gone. The blame stayed behind, heavy and silent, anchoring itself to her heart as she lived out another of Africa's untold stories of struggle. The months didn't just pass, they stretched. Every stare felt like a jagged stone thrown from a distance. She learned to navigate the shadows, wondering if the strength of her ancestors was a gift you were born with, or an armor you were forced to forge in the dark. But then, in the heart of that silence, a movement, a small, stubborn kick from within. In that hidden space, fear didn't vanish, it simply made room for something quiet and fierce. Love, in its most defiant form, started to outgrow the shame. Look at her now, and listen to the laughter filling the very room where silence used to hide.
Ready to blow out the candles, sweetie?
The world called her story a tragedy, but they could never measure the miracle standing right in front of her.
She is a survivor, a mother, and a testament to the beauty that grows when you refuse to break. To the woman carrying that same heavy silence, your pain is not the period at the end of your sentence. What the world calls a mistake, love turns into a miracle.
One continent layered with stories still waiting to be heard. This week reminded us that Africa is not a single narrative. It is courage stitched into daily life. It is silence that carries memory. It is strength that does not ask for permission to exist. To every creator who stepped into this theme, thank you for handling it with care. Now we turn to you. Which story moved you? Which silence spoke the loudest? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. This is AFN, where stories are not just created, they are reclaimed.